Good morning. Guten Morgen. That's what they say in Germany. They say that. I think it sounds silly. Ooh, yeah, Guten Morgen. Ridiculous. Just another reason that German is a fake language. It's not real. It is not. All right, we're gonna start here in a minute, but I'll be right back. Alright, so we're gonna watch an Asmongold video. That's right,
Apparently,
and it's called Israel Did It Again.
This might come as a surprise, but Israel has managed to kill more civilians. I know. You thought it couldn't happen. They were not civilians? Well, they were journalists, and journalists are civilians.
What up,
so
Donut?
anyway, Israel has killed multiple journalists in Gaza, including prominent Al Jazeera reporters. Here we go. Let's watch it.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is defending his country's planned military takeover of Gaza City, even as that plan faces growing...
I'm good, just got back grocery shopping. How's life? Life is pretty sweet, Donut. This is unfortunate news coverage that you're coming into here, but yeah, Israel killed several journalists, I think the day before yesterday. Why is it unfortunate? Because of what I just said. That's what's going on. Including the Al Jazeera reporter. I forgot his name. I don't mind that. All right, man. All right, very cool. Very cool. Unlimited killing and destruction. We don't mind it.
International condemnation. Netanyahu spoke by phone.
Wait, I've known you for too long to know that you're a political commentator. All right, man. I am in fact a political commentator.
Expand the war, and according to the Prime Minister's office, he thanked the U.S. president for his quote steadfast support of Israel.
Political commentator.
But the U.S. stands increasingly apart from allies, with more countries voicing their opposition to Israel's new war plan.
Yeah.
Australia is the latest country to say it will recognize a Palestinian state at the UN General Assembly
huge
in
in
September.
politics.
Still, Netanyahu shows no signs of backing
I
down.
try to be.
I don't want to
Staying
prolong
up
the
to
war.
date.
I want to end the war. Given Hamas's refusal to lay down its arms,
I want to end the
Israel
war.
has no choice but to finish the job and complete the defeat of Hamas.
The staff of the network Al
Also,
Jazeera
did you
is mourning the
move?
loss of
Yes.
colleagues killed in an Israeli airstrike. The
This
Israeli
is what's crazy, is that they actually killed journalists this time. That doesn't happen very often, but it's happening now. All right, buddy. No, the thing is that, like, I think everybody agrees that Hamas is bad, and it's good if Israel...
Wait, what do you mean it doesn't happen often? Is that what he just said?
Hamas.
The staff of the network Al Jazeera is mourning the loss of colleagues killed in an Israeli airstrike.
This is what's crazy, is that they actually killed journalists this time. That doesn't happen very often, but it's happening now.
They literally did it last month.
All right, buddy. No, the thing is that, like, I think everybody agrees that Hamas is bad, and it's good if Israel or anybody gets rid of them. I mean, even Saudi Arabia hates Hamas. So it's not like Hamas are the good guys, according to anyone other than Hamas and a few, like, weird white girls on Twitter. Other than that, though,
is Asmon a conservative or a rage baiter? He is apolitical.
Collateral damage that things like this are happening.
So apolitical.
Military says it deliberately targeted journalist Anas al-Sharif, accusing him of leading a Hamas cell. The director of the Al-Shifa hospital says al-Sharif was in a tent marked with a press sign at the time of the attack. In all, 7 people were killed, including at least 3 other Al Jazeera journalists. Before his death, al-Sharif responded to Israel's accusation, saying he was a, quote, journalist with no political affiliation.
Oh, yeah, but what I was saying earlier is they bombed a, I believe it was a coffee shop. It was a, yeah, I mean, it was a, what the fuck are they called? I forgot. Who cares? Okay, they bombed it. And there were a bunch of people in there that were just getting coffee, drinks, and using the free Wi-Fi, because it was the only place in Gaza where you could reliably get Wi-Fi. Israel or Hamas, it was Israel, man. Yeah. They killed a bunch of people. Most of them were, 2 of them were athletes. One of which was like in the Olympics, I believe. And several journalists as well.
Al Jazeera is calling the kill.
So they do kill journalists regularly. Like that's why it's crazy that Asmongold would be like, they don't do this often. Yeah, they do, bro. They've done it this year.
Is obviously a political leaning. Like they definitely have more of, I would say, an anti-Israel like stance on things. Same as like Fox News is more pro-Republican. CNN is closer to the middle. But
no, dude. Al Jazeera is not like the the anti-Israel equivalent of Fox News. That's
MSNBC
crazy.
Is like more
That's
Democrat.
so crazy.
Like, I mean, yeah, they're still.
It's just like Fox News.
I'm not justifying this, but to say that you
fucking
don't have
horseshoe theory
is not true. The entire idea that the press isn't, we're just reporting the facts. No, you're not. No, you're not.
A desperate attempt to silence voices.
It's in the middle, in between Fox and MSNBC. It doesn't mean that it's in the middle politically, but Fox is more right-wing and MSNBC is more left-wing.
Head of the occupation of Gaza.
Okay.
The Committee to Protect Journalists released a statement
that's all I'm
reading,
saying.
quote, Israel's pattern of labeling journalists as
bro.
militants without providing
That's
credible
fucking
evidence
crazy.
raises serious questions about its intent and respect for press freedom. Journalists are civilians and must never be targeted. Those responsible for these killings must be held accountable.
They may be the most left-wing, though, in a news outlet
have
in
been
America.
killed in Gaza in the last
Maybe.
22 months.
Even that, I'm not sure.
Bashir is following all of these developments and joins us live now from London. Good to see you, Nada. Can you tell me a little bit more about Anas al-Sharif? From what I understand, he anticipated the possibility that he could be targeted and killed by Israel, right?
Of course.
Absolutely, he has.
I mean,
indeed.
like, if 180 people have been killed that are doing your job, you have to be like, yeah, this might happen to me. I mean, duh.
His concerns over the threats and allegations that he had seen mounting by members of the Israeli military and other Israeli government officials who had highlighted and pinpointed Anas al-Sharif as a potential target. And as you mentioned, Ivan, we've been hearing those warnings around his safety and calls for his protection from others as well, including the UN Special Rapporteur for the Freedom of Expression, as well as the Committee to Protect Journalists. And in fact, Al Jazeera, the international media network, had also raised concern around the safety and protection of Anas al-Sharif, as well as his other Al Jazeera colleagues and other journalists on the ground in the Gaza Strip. And we had been hearing those mounting allegations from members of the Israeli military, including the IDF's Arabic spokesperson, has been described by many as a smear campaign against the Al Jazeera journalist.
They accused him
of being linked to Hamas, in their words, quote, a terrorist, because Anas al-Sharif has become a household name for many in the Arabic-speaking world, for many closely following updates on the ground on the situation in Gaza on social media. Anas al-Sharif, over the last 22 months, has been a constant source of information on the ground across the Gaza Strip.
At
the time of his death, he was, of course, in Gaza.
Like, the thing is that you remember, like, after they did the pager thing, and like they were all too happy to discuss exactly and how they did every step of the pager. Like, and it was really smart the way that they did that. Like, it was a very well executed operation.
God,
you
dude,
might think Israel's evil.
What the fuck are you talking about, man? Well executed. They murdered hospital workers. They blew up hospital workers. What do you mean? It was a well executed. For if you don't know, by the way, if you don't remember, Israel put bombs inside of little pagers, okay, and pagers that were on their way to Lebanon, and they were distributed mainly to Hezbollah members, Hezbollah party members, which is a legitimate political party in Lebanon, okay, a far right extremist political party, but a legitimate political party that they targeted with bombs, nonetheless. And anyway, if you know anything about pagers, okay, hospital workers use them. In fact, they exchange them, they trade them all the time. So, of course, some of these pagers ended up in the hands of nurses and doctors, and they got blown up. Their children were blown up. There was a 9-year-old girl that was killed in one of these bombs. She heard the pager going off in the kitchen, and she went to go pick it up, and it fucking exploded. And anyway, that is not a well-executed plan, man. That is terrorism. That is fucking terrorism. You can't call it anything other than that.
There are evil things
it's crazy.
That are executed very, very cleanly. I think this
so
is
clean.
one of them.
Yeah.
But so where's where's the methodology for this? Because it's very clear. Like, yeah, bro, if you think Israel makes mistakes, you're crazy.
They killed that. What he's talking about, that specific event, consequently led to the death of a 9-year-old girl. And he just said it was cleanly executed. What point is Asman trying to make? Asman is trying to say that like Israel, the pager bombing thing was awesome, okay, but killing these reporters is not so awesome. And the reason he's doing this, even though it's obviously like you know, if you're asking me, okay, killing a 9-year-old girl versus several innocent journalists, you know, which one is worse? I'd probably go with the child murder. Okay, but Asman in the past has been pro-Israel, but now he's kind of reading the room and he's realizing that a lot of people in America, in his audience, are not so pro-Israel. So he's trying to say, like, damn, like, can't we go back to the good old days, like a few months ago when we did the pager bombing thing? That was awesome. That was badass. That was like a James Bond movie. Now, since then, even more people in America have become anti-Israel. And so he's kind of backtracking here, in my opinion. He's kind of saying, like, like, this is bad. What Israel did here is bad. But look, man, this is no different. The death of these reporters is business as usual for Israel. It is. Like, they have been doing this for many, many, many years. They've been killing journalists. They've been killing activists. Never forget, the first American to be killed by Israel was an activist in 2003. They ran her over with a bulldozer. With a fucking bulldozer.
It's all around me.
She's from Washington.
He was outside of the previously destroyed Al-Shifa hospital with other journalists, according to the hospital's director, Dr. Mohammed Abu Salmiya, in a tent clearly marked as a press tent. Now, this isn't the first time that we have seen these press tents.
My opinion on this entire topic is that I just want America to get the fuck out of this problem. I think this problem is it's so complex. It's been ongoing forever.
It's not complex.
I think that there's like definitely like different like good and bad things with each thing. I just want us to get the fuck out of there. Like it's such a there's no like winners in this. There's not going to be any winners. There's not going to be like a good, I don't see there being a good ending coming out of this. I don't even see there being an ending. This is just this ongoing conflict that's going on entirely, and Americans' taxpayer dollars are going to fund it. At the end of the day, I don't want my money going towards bombing Palestinians. I don't want my money invested in this. There are 50 other problems that are more immediate and more important that I would rather do.
Where was this coverage 6 months ago? Where was this coverage 2 years ago when Israel started this genocide? Almost 2 years ago. I don't know about started the genocide. When they kicked it into high gear. Where was this coverage, man? I wonder why. I wonder why Asman is saying this now, of all times. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think Hamas is bad. Hamas is bad, but at the same time, so is homelessness. So is a food shortage. So is crime. Like there are a million. So it's like 50 other things that are going on. Trump wants a hotel there. That's stupid. Like it's stupid. Like, yeah, America first. That's my viewpoint, right? That's how you get more 9/11, sir. So wait a minute. You get more So the solution to 9/11 is to continue military intervention.
It's opposite. It's flipped. He doesn't care as long as it doesn't affect him. He's so quick to say Hamas is bad, but Israel's are bad. But not Israel's are bad. My bad. Yeah, I mean, well, I think he is, like, both sidesing this shit now, okay? And he's like saying, oh, well, like, Hamas is bad, but, like, so is Israel. Israel is bad. My fault, Israelis, however you spell it, that's drop the E on the end. There's no E. It's just the I, but yeah. Yeah, Israelis are bad, and Hamas is, like a terrorist organization that murders people. Innocent people. The innocence is kind of hard to say. I think that basically every Israeli person is complicit in this, just like the German citizens in Nazi Germany. If you aren't resisting this, you are complicit in it. That's what I think. But yeah, anyway, he's both sidesing this shit. That's kind of going to be the vibe for a while, but, I think it is interesting that there's been a turning point here recently, and it wasn't because of any of the death and destruction that Israel did. It's because of Epstein, okay? It's because that's what, like, Asmongold was like, MAGA, pro-Trump, okay, he loves Trump, he loves the admin, until the Epstein stuff started happening, and now he's like, he's reading the room, and he is like being more critical of this admin and of the entities that they support, like Israel. Am I wrong? Why are most big gamers so right-sided? I think that, like, gamers. Well, first of all, I think that, like, most Americans are like pretty right wing, okay. Like a lot of us aren't, okay. And it's a growing number of leftists that live here, but like most Americans are just shifted to the right by default. That's like the default setting. So it's not really gamers, but gaming it's an interesting community, the gaming community, because they like get in all this like political shit. Okay, they get involved in like political drama and slop. But that's the thing. That's how they consume it. They consume politics via like drama and slop content. But gamers as a whole, I think they try to be like apolitical. Okay, they try to take this like apolitical stance, like, oh, I'm impartial. I'm not on either side. And when you take the moderate role, when you take on that role, you are right wing. You're like centrist. All throughout American history have always upheld the racist right wing institutions. It's like Martin Luther King Jr. said, the greatest enemy to the black community isn't the Klan members, it's the white moderates. He wrote that while he was in prison in Birmingham.
Just like we have for the last 30 years in the Middle East. Oh my God. Maybe if we just spend 5 more years arming different versions of Islamic radical groups, maybe this problem that's been going on for 1,000 years will go away. Oh, wow. Why didn't I think of this? Holy shit. That's what we have to do. We have to replace the Taliban with the Taliban again. Yes, and then everything's going to go away. Holy shit.
What he's describing here is interesting that he's talking about this, because that is what America does. Okay, we do fund these far-right extremist groups. It started... when it comes to the right-wing extreme Muslim organizations like Al-Qaeda, that started in the 80s with the Russian invasion of Kabul. And the Reagan administration famously in collaboration with Hillary Clinton and various other Congress people, they funded these right-wing militias, which later became known as Al-Qaeda. Okay, originally, I believe they were called the Mujahideen, which is still an organization that exists, but it branched off into Al-Qaeda, which grew to be very large, and it was comprised of multiple factions that were sometimes at odds with each other. And of course, one of these factions was led by Osama bin Laden, which resulted in 9/11 happening. So, Asmon is on the right track here, but it's not like we're like we sell guns to everyone. Okay, it's profitable. It's profitable. That's like our biggest money maker. Two biggest money makers of America is guns, domestic truck sales. I wanted to mention that one, okay, but really the two biggest money makers are guns and NATO. Okay, NATO is a protection racket that we run in Europe, and that's how it works. Okay,
it's exhausting.
Anyway.
We have no idea what's going on with Gaza and Hamas and Israel. Why are our taxes getting used to kill without certainty? That it's done out of necessity. Israel's rich enough to do this without all of our money. Exactly, yeah. That's the way I think about this, too, is that, like, I'm so fatigued.
He's wrong about that. And I hear that a lot. I hear that from Israelis and from, like, pro-Israel people, probably the most. But it's like, oh, they can take care of themselves. They don't need us. No, they can't, man. No, they can't. They cannot continue what they're doing. They can't continue the occupation. They can't continue the genocide. They can't do any of that without our help. Without our money, without our weapons, it would not be feasible. Not at all. Not even for a second. What is Israel's economy? What do they make? How do they make money? How could they possibly fund this by themselves? It is ludicrous. They don't make anything. Like, I'm serious. What do they make? Fucking olive oil? Right? I can't remember what their biggest export is. It's not olive oil. It's some other, like, food. I can't remember. Anyway,
this conflict, and I think that there's a lot of Americans that feel the way that I do. Tell me if you agree with me on this. Is that I'm so tired of trying to figure out who's right and who's wrong and who's doing the right thing and who's doing the wrong thing. There's so many different shades of the fog of war that's happening with this that I just want to get the fuck away from it. I want to get out of it. I don't want to have anything to do with it. I don't want to be involved in this. I don't want to have to fucking think about this. Like, it's insane. We got our own problems? Yeah.
Okay, so be a leftist then. Be a leftist.
And in Gaza, across the strip being targeted.
The only political faction in America that is staunchly anti-Israel and anti-genocide is the leftist. That's it. Look at everyone else. Look at the Democrats. Look at the Republicans. They're all pro-genocide. They're all pro-Israel. Every single one of them. And I'm talking about politicians, okay? Not the people that are like actually voting. I think that at this point, it could even be that a majority of voters in America are like anti-Israel. They're like Asmon. They want us to like get away. Like, oh, like this has gone too far. We need to get away from this. Okay. Anyway.
In Israeli airstrikes, the Israeli
I thought that this would happen. I said this months ago.
Targeted strike against the Al Jazeera journalists as well as
the tide is turning.
Heard, as I mentioned, from the UN.
It's happening faster than I thought it would, though.
For freedom of expression, denouncing those allegations by the Israeli military as unfounded accusations. We've heard from the Committee to Protect Journalists. We also
can't
heard.
They just say how they got the information or what the information is? That he's a terrorist. I mean, like they'd have to have some kind of a reason for it. I mean, again, like they had a million fucking points. As soon as that pager thing happened, they explained everything.
Their reason is that Hamas was using them as human shields. That's their reason. They were attacking Hamas. Oops, we accidentally blew up a bunch of journalists who are anti-Israel. What? How could this happen? What a big accident that was. What What a great
Anas
big
al-Sharif
accident.
speaking to the Committee to Protect Journalists, saying, I live with the feeling that I could be bombed and martyred at any moment. This feeling is difficult and painful, but it does not push me back. Rather, it motivates me to continue fulfilling my duty. Of course, as I mentioned, Anas al-Sharif was a crucial source of information in the Gaza Strip. As we know, international journalists have thus far not been permitted to access Gaza independently. And of course, Palestinian journalists on the ground have been a huge source of information.
It's crazy that CNN is airing this right now.
When they keep supporting this. The problem is
that is wild.
Every country is a victim of its own propaganda. And in the same way that a lot of people wanted to glass the Middle East after 9/11, which really shouldn't have happened, and it didn't happen as much as it could have, honestly. Many people are victims of propaganda, and that, I'm not saying that justifies it, but you have to keep in mind that, from their perspective, their home is being attacked. Like, I understand why Israelis feel animosity towards, Hamas or Palestine in general. Like, and that's the thing, is that that was my whole point of, like, this whole thing is just so fatiguing.
Yeah, I can understand it. I understand it too. It's just inexcusable. Okay, calling Palestinians subhuman, saying that they're, they deserve this. They're dogs. We're gonna cleanse Gaza of Palestinians. It is unacceptable. And don't be mistaken. That is what Israelis are saying. That's what they're thinking. Shit, they're probably thinking shit that's way worse than that. Okay, but the things that they're saying are just like that. And it's not the politicians. It's not the military guys in Israel. It's not the IDF. It is all of them. It is almost all of them. Okay, it's not literally all of them. Okay, there are lots of Israelis that are resisting this, but they are in the minority by far. By far, it is staggering how many Israelis want. Oh, and we're back. And we're back. Okay, I don't know when it dropped off. I don't know what happened. How long was it? It didn't even register as the frames were being dropped. I guess my internet shit the bed. Like 2 minutes? Okay. What I was saying is that, number one, this coverage being on CNN is wild. Okay, Hassan was saying the same thing that CNN is saying right now, a year ago. Okay, like they're a year behind Hassan right now. And they called him a terrorist for saying these things, for covering this, for calling it out. Okay, CNN is, I guess they're terrorists now. I don't know, man. That might be what they start saying. CNN is the pro-Hamas channel. It's the pro-Hamas channel. But anyway, another thing that I was saying is that Benjamin Netanyahu is a libtard. Okay, from the Israeli perspective. What I mean is Netanyahu was the moderate candidate. Israelis aren't... Netanyahu is unpopular among Israelis. But it's not because he's, too evil, or he's going too hard on Gaza. It's because he's not being brutal enough. That's it.
Makes sense.
Anyway.
And they appear to have been systematically targeted. If you can cite the numbers from the Committee to Protect Journalists, at least 186 Palestinian journalists killed in 22 months of conflict in Gaza, some 90 others imprisoned. Nada Bashir, live from London. Thank you very much for that update. Alon Pinkas is a former Israeli consul general in New York, and he joins us live from Tel Aviv. Good to see you. It's been months since we last spoke. I wanted to get your sense. We're hearing about families of Israeli hostages and the Israeli political opposition calling for a general strike this coming weekend over the Israeli government's expanded war plans in Gaza. Will that make any difference?
Well, that depends on the size, the scale, and the sustainability of such an effort, Ivan. I mean, if it's a strike that's 1 day or 2 days, that's not going to have a big impact. If the strike is accompanied by demonstrations growing in size, from 10,000 to 30,000 to 100,000 and even more, and we've seen those in the past, so it's doable. If we see that on an ongoing basis, then it could change. Now, on top of that, these protesters...
I don't think they're getting any of these hostages back. I mean, again, it's just probably not going to happen. It's a psycho-terrorist group. What do you expect?
Of course it's not. What? What? No. No, man. They're not going to get the hostages back because they don't care. They don't care. Hamas, nobody wants to release the hostages more than Hamas, unironically. Unironically. They have tried. They have tried to make deals with Israel. At the beginning of 2025. They released hostages then too. Okay, but let's talk about October 7th. On October 10th, they released what was it, like 10 hostages. They kept releasing them one after another because Israel agreed to a temporary peace deal or something. What's the word? They agreed to a peace deal that would exist so long as the parameters were met. And, of course, they immediately turned around and broke the peace deal. That's what Israel does every time. They have broken, I think, almost 300 peace deals with Palestinians. That's what happened.
And this opposition is backed by
Oh, yeah, but anyway, Israel is not interested in getting the hostages released. And the reason why is because if there are no hostages, it's a lot more difficult to justify this genocide. It just is. And even not the Palestinians, even the Israelis understand this reality, okay? Because the families of these hostages are aware and they are speaking out about how the Israeli government is using the hostages as pawns in this political game. They want to justify the brutality and the death and destruction, and the hostages are the tool that they use to do that.
Is a better word here. By the
consent.
military's opposition, resistance, and reservations about the plan.
The crazy part is Israel immediately released documents and photos with Sinwar and the journalist, but CNN didn't even mention or show it, even if you think it's fake. It's really bad journalism. I think that, yeah, you're right about that. I mean, there's definitely always going to be some of that stuff that happens. Sure.
If you notice, or if our viewers have noticed, Mr. Netanyahu is trying to sell a non-existent plan by changing the terminology constantly in the last 48 hours. I mean, from occupation, it became takeover. Takeover became a temporary military presence. Evacuation became partial evacuation. Occupation of Gaza became military control of central Gaza, etc., etc. So there's no real plan, yet the war is going.
Israel has free college and free healthcare. We shouldn't be giving them billions of dollars to keep them bombing women and kids.
That's true.
I completely agree with you. And even if they didn't have free college and free healthcare, I would still agree with you. Yeah. I totally agree.
To continue. That's a given. That's almost an inevitability.
Regardless.
And against that background,
and I don't have anything if you're an Israeli citizen, I don't have anything against you. I'm not mad at you. You didn't do anything. This is just your government doing something, right? I said the same thing about Russia. Russian citizens don't have any fucking they can't make Putin stop the Ukraine war. The same as Palestinians can't stop Hamas.
Okay. The difference is that Russians are overwhelmingly against the Ukrainian war. Okay, they don't want it. They don't want it. Israelis, on the other hand, they generally, I'm speaking generally, not literally all of them, but generally they love it. They want more of it. They want more destruction. They want more death. They think that Palestinians are dogs. They're evil. They're human animals. That's it.
At least. And fucking Israelis can't stop the Israeli government. Not individually. Then who can? Well, they can collectively, but not individually. What I'm saying is that you shouldn't assign.
They're not even trying.
You shouldn't assign collective guilt to any group of people, even if the majority of that group of people are bad, because each individual is different. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
That strike and those demonstrations are going to be held.
As Prime Minister Netanyahu was kind of defending his, as you've argued,
nothing is anyone's fault, I guess.
I also heard that he was denying reports of starvation and malnutrition in Gaza. And I wanted to ask you, Mr. Pincus, is that a widespread belief in Israel, that these images and firsthand accounts and then the reports that have come from the health ministry in Gaza of at least 217 Palestinians, 100 of which are children, dying of malnutrition, people in Israel believe that this is happening, or as Prime Minister Netanyahu has said,
and they love it.
Do you blindly believe Israel's choosing to kill women and children? I don't want to pay for it, whether it's intentional or not. I don't care whether they're right or wrong. I don't want my fucking money going towards it, period. I don't understand how that's hard to understand.
Not think that this is actually taking place in Gaza.
That's a good question, and it's going to take a trained social psychologist, which I am not, to figure out whether or not people actually believe that there's no starvation, no malnutrition, no humanitarian crisis or humanitarian catastrophe, or they're living in denial, meaning that they sort of know that it's happening, but they choose to look the other way, denying that that Israel can ever be a part of that. But I'm seeing rather a dramatic change in the last 2, 3, 4 weeks. From complete denial and being indifferent, oblivious, and ignorant about what's going on in Gaza, there's much more reporting on what is going on in Gaza. Now the question is this a policy, a deliberate policy? Is this done with an intention to starve, or is this just incompetence, ineptitude, and a bad prosecution of the war? And of course, that depends on how you analyze this. But the public understands now what it chose to ignore for the better part of the last 6 months. That
the only thing that the Israeli government is incompetent at is justifying what they're doing. That's it. They have orchestrated it, like everything that they've done to the Palestinians is intentional. Every cruel act, every murder was intentional. It wasn't human shields. It wasn't any of that. It wasn't Hamas stealing the fucking food. It is intentional starvation and child murder.
There is a humanitarian crisis. There is starvation, and that the prime minister is denying it. That's what he does.
Well, he's not even denying it. He's saying Hamas does it too, which I think is true. I think that Hamas does contribute to the starvation problem, because contributing to the starvation problem creates a need for Hamas. So if Hamas is seen as the ones that are controlling the flow of food, that gives them a power apparatus that they can operate out of. So I think that, of course they're doing that, because it's just logical.
He usually tells you, believe me, not what your eyes are seeing. So
right, of course.
What can I say? I cannot even...
So what Asman is saying here is that Hamas is starving. They are doing the starvation. They are making this happen. And the reason why is because they want to keep fighting Israelis, and they need justification for it. Like you would need to starve your neighbors to justify fighting against your occupiers. It's crazy. It's crazy. And also, he didn't say it here, but obviously, he didn't say it explicitly, but what they're saying is that Hamas is stealing the food and hiding it. They're hiding it. And there is zero fucking evidence of this. There is literally no evidence. And in my debate with food shops, she brought it up. And it was literally debunked, I think 2 days after our debate. It was completely debunked. And I told her, I was like, that's probably fake. That is coming from the Israeli government. They lie all the time. Okay, they were the ones that were saying Hamas is stealing the food. Hamas is stealing the food. They're evil. And I told her, I was like, this shit is not happening, probably. I gave her the benefit of the doubt. I was like, maybe it could be, but it doesn't change anything. Even if Hamas was stealing the food, it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't change anything at all, because the solution to that is to give them more food, is to let more food and aid. And the only ones stopping food and aid from entering Gaza is Israel, not the fucking Hamas. They're not stopping any aid from entering Gaza. They're not intercepting aid and humanitarian workers from entering Gaza like Israel is. They're just not.
What he's saying here.
And so anyway,
they're not killing humanitarian workers.
The real reason why this is happening is because of social media algorithms. That's right. Benjamin Netanyahu claims social media algorithms are turning the public opinion against Israel. He says they're losing the propaganda war, insisting most of those that hate him are actually bots.
No, I think that we've not been winning it, to put it mildly. I think there are vast forces that are arrayed against us.
My God,
among other things, the algorithms of the social network that are driving a lot of everything
I haven't
else,
even seen this.
You know? And people who really know, and they're the foremost people in this field in the world, they're telling me that about 60% of the responses on the social media are bots. They can categorically say they're bots.
That's true. That's true with everything. It's true with everything. That doesn't mean that you're right. It doesn't mean that all of the responses that are against you are bots and all of the people that are for you are real people. What a bunch of bullshit. He's saying this for a reason, probably for censorship? Yeah, I think so. Anyway, let's go back. I'll look at this.
Jews and Israelis across the world are now speaking out. What I was trying to say before the baboon interrupted me was that the top Holocaust historian in the country.
You're calling Jews monkeys and apes? Disgusting. How vile are you?
You murder Muslims for fun. You don't get to talk about racism. You murder Palestinian children for land. You're a disgusting genocidal pig. So you don't get to talk about racism and anti-Semitism.
Yeah, this is pretty good. This is pretty good. He said before the baboon interrupted.
And by the way, I got 5 seconds in.
And by the way, that's not anti-Semitic. Okay, it's just not. You know, first of all, he was calling the individual person a baboon, and secondly, like, that's not a thing. Okay, that's not an anti-Semitic thing. The anti-Semites don't go around saying Jews are monkeys. Okay, there's a different group of people that they say are monkeys, and it is not Jewish people.
I love how we have taken Xbox Live lobbies and we've turned them into geopolitics.
For the baboon interrupted.
Rabbi, allow Cenk to answer. Allow Cenk to answer, please. You call me a baboon? You're just an embarrassment.
Soon he'll be throwing feces onto the screen.
You're an usually this used to be in Halo 3. Now it's in the UN.
Okay.
You're just an Please continue, Cenk. Please, Rabbi. You'll get your time to respond. You'll get your time to respond, Rabbi. This is unacceptable. You will not call Jews monkeys and apes. You are a disgusting, vile Jew hater to your core. I've never met anyone like you.
I don't care what you think. You're a genocidal freak.
Jews are apes. Disgusting.
What does
Do you see how I just don't want America to be involved in this? Yeah, I don't. No.
Yeah, what is that mediator doing, dude?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
I'm out. Get me out of this shit.
What does the Nazi think of my language? Oh, I'm so concerned. What does the murderer of children think of my language? Oh, the problem is my language. The problem isn't that you're murdering Palestinian children.
I got it. Go ahead. You said Jews are apes.
No, they're not. I was just defending Jews. I was just defending Jews when you interrupted like a baboon. I'm not talking about Jews. I'm talking about you who can't shut up.
You are a rancid
diarrhea at us 24/7.
You are a rancid hater who is so
absolutely
Everybody hates look like a baboon a little bit. He does.
Jews, that's your excuse for murdering Muslims.
You don't know
sick,
genocidal excuse. You don't know history.
Yeah.
Genocide. Your show is named after people who killed 3 million
There's no point to this conversation.
If he keeps going, he's going to just become more. His face is going to get redder.
Your show is
the idiot won't shut up.
Who killed 3 million
this is the only thing Israelis have. Just talking over people. Because they're such grotesque liars and murderers.
Okay, please, Rabbi, I'd like to ask you a question. Rabbi.
No, I didn't get to answer. Baboon won't let me talk. He even looks like one.
Rabbi Shmuley, please allow Cenk. Please allow Cenk to finish. What I was listening to. I will never use an ad hominem attack against how he looks ever, because I have dignity. I'm a human being. This man. Please allow him to finish.
Yes. All the Israelis have is ad hominem attacks. Oh, hey, watch us start children to death. You called me something. You said I'm talking children.
Special debate. The future of Gaza.
Yeah, so funny,
This right here is why I just want us to get out of it. I want out. I want off this wild ride. Figure it out.
Mr. Bones won't allow that.
That's exactly how I feel right there.
Don't what you're talking about. That's all this baboon has.
Now you know why he has no issue with Mengele experimenting on Jews, because for him, Jews are apes.
I hate the
experimented
Nazis.
on laboratories.
I would have fought like hell to save Jews from the Holocaust. If you were a German, you would have cheerleaded. If they're lying about Hitler, that's what you would have said if you were a German, because that's what you're saying now, defending the genocide and murder of Palestinian children.
Bro, I'm not going to take your insults, your ad hominem ignorance.
Get the hell out there. Then shut up and leave.
Allow Cenk to finish, Rabbi. Allow Cenk.
Yeah, that's about right, isn't it? Holy shit, man. Bro turned red, yeah. Look at this. At the beginning, let me see. Look. Where's it at? Jesus. I guess it's not. He's not even that much more red.
All right, I'm gonna pause this.